Hey, everybody, welcome back. We're about to get into the second quarterfinal match of the day between Frecia Gaming and where did my notes? Goodssen Absolute. We've got just got a couple of knuckleheads with me here in the chat, or not in the chat, in the lobby, trying to get all concentrated and set up. And you guys, just can you just do your little shtick so we can talk about the thing? Just do it.
Oh yeah,
Just do
yeah.
the thing. Yeah.
Muse gave me this to give to you blank. So just
Oh, really?
yeah. There you go. Hang on, you got it.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, I've got
You
it.
got
I've
it.
got it. Cheers,
Okay,
man.
there
Yeah,
we go.
it's not bad. Not bad.
That's
There's been
right.
money you paid me for, touting him so much, but there you go. So,
This is
not
what we
bad
have
pay,
to
not
deal
bad pay.
with. This is what we have to deal with.
We
This
make
is what I'm
ourselves laugh,
dealing
and
with.
that's the
This is
point.
why I run to my meat and cheese trays, okay? Because
It's true.
yeah, I just can't handle it
Solace.
that much. Let's
Solace
talk
and
about
Gouda.
this first. Let's talk about this first match here. I want to know a little bit more. As far as I know and understanding in my research, Frecia Gaming is actually pretty well regarded in Korea Open Division. John.
Yeah, they managed to come third in last Open Division season. Back in season 2, they came 7th in the trials. I think it was BH Hawk, BM Hawk, who they did actually beat out, who they also beat out in that third place playoff as well. They didn't manage to take a game off anyone else, so they didn't fare so well there. But when it comes to Open Division, they are certainly not to be trifled with. Frecia Gaming, they're doing pretty good stuff. They're making it work.
And what about on the other side for Goodson Absolute? What do we know about this team, Blank?
Really don't actually know that much, sadly. This is a
Yeah.
team where we're coming into it blind. I know that's probably the excitement of Open Division, is because there are so many players here where you don't know much about them, but this is where their endemic talent is grown. It's where that talent sifts on the way up to contenders. So you might not get into contenders as a team, you get pulled up and bought on to a team. So as long as you're showing yourself up, and this is the opportunity, you're hitting top 8 at this point. Now, going against Frecia Gaming, this is really a way to show off. So if this team is able to take maps off Frecia, like, they're already doing a great point. The cut and dry of it, though, is that Frecia are basically revered to win this match. They're looking like it's looking like Goodssen Absolute are the underdogs, and not to, and that's not a bad thing, because as we've seen, Frecia took games off Blossom, MVP Space, so currently who were playing in last season of Korean Contenders, which is just finished now. Both teams extremely good. MVP Space have an amazing tank line that is not to be trifled with, and being able to shut that down is a massive capability for a team. So I'd be interested to see how Goodson Absolute deal with that in their own front line.
There's one player on Goodson Absolute I want everyone to watch for, and that's Kim Gyu-tae. He is the size of his hero pool is absolutely incredible. We know that they're a big underdog here. We're going to talk about predictions, but I'm just going to say it right now. I'm going to say Frecia game at 3-0, maybe 3-1 here. But there's one player I really want to watch on Goodson Absolute, and that's Kim Gyu-tae. He has a massive hero pool, is known to really put on those carry DPS roles to put his team on his back. So make sure to watch that on the side of Goodson Absolute. I didn't steer you wrong last one with half. So I, we're let's go 2 for 2 today. And let's talk about predictions. So I gave you mine, spoiler alert, but let me hear your guys really quick. Blank, I'm going to let you go first so you don't get, so you can not blame it on the luck of the draw here and having to be controversial.
I think in this situation, I'm still gonna go with Frecia. I'm boring like that. I'm gonna be like, look at the numbers, see what we've seen so far. I mean, and again, we do see here Goodson Absolute. They're a wild card. They could be a great. They could be bad. We just don't know. But in this situation, it's all the performances that come down. And if you're playing in the top 8, you're playing at a masterful level at this point. So whatever happens, both these teams are incredible to get to this point.
What about you, John? Are you going to go with Frecia Gaming as well? It's okay for you to do so.
I know it is, and I am going to do it. I think that Frecia Gaming, they're Open Division royalty, right? Like they've been here for a long time. They're an established presence in the Open Division, and I think going against them, going against the monarchy, and as a proud British citizen, I just don't think I could do that.
Fair enough. Well, let's do this then. Let's just jump right into it. Let's get into the
All right,
action.
cool.
We're gonna take a brief break, sync up videos really quick so that nobody's casting from the future, and then
That's
we'll be
true.
right back right into map number 1, which is gonna be Lijiang Tower, right after this.
Hello, welcome to the first map of the quarterfinal. We haven't been on too long, so hopefully you haven't forgotten what's going on. But it is Goodssen Absolute versus Frecia Gaming. They're going to be over on Lijiang Tower. First up, Control Center and Kim Gyute. We were told to watch out for this, and quite frankly, I can see why. The headshot immediately raining down onto Ethan on that Farah. They state their claim real early here, Blake.
Yeah, and he's watching all apertures as well. I mean, KT, he's got a way with words, and he's got a way with picking out these great players on either team. Kim Gyute already showing up in a big way. Frecia Gaming, they switch over. Ashtayaki going over to the Reinhardt. Rivaldez, he's rather going on to Zarya as well. So it's going to give a little bit more sustain in the front line, able to push towards this McCree without him able to chunk you down in the meantime.
Yeah, pretty difficult though with a Legend on that Brigitte. You've got such protection on the back lines, you might not be able to access it, but when you can't get to the back lines, you go for the front lines. First of all on that Reinhardt, they just move it on forwards and flip the cap. 20% built up for Absolute, but they send back.
They've got to walk backwards in that situation. Frecia Gaming played that extremely well. Nice and slow, nice and paced. And Kim Gyute, he's just got to back it up, and the rest of this team walks with him. There's the Deadeye. Immediately gets sleeved by Nihai, though.
Check out that tactical roll. Quick feet on the free, able to get out of dodge, but there goes the Reinhardt. There goes the Shatter as well. And that is one angry Ash Takayaki. And they're going to take them to task. Goodssen Absolute white.
That was just massive from Ash there, able to bring this one back in a big way, and also the Earthshatter to completely negate Zer's nano boost when it came onto him from Tampa. This is not looking good for Goodssen Absolute. They will have the rally shortly, but this sound barrier is what they're going to be using to engage alongside the Earthshatter. They got to watch out that Ashtayaki looks like he knows what he's doing.
Triple ult just thrown in by Frecia Gaming right now, and they're going to make it work. 2 kills going out. Oh, what a cluster of players to swing your hammer into if you are Reinhardt. Ash Takayaki building up plenty of ult charge as well. 59, 60% on the cards for that. But they are coming up against a pretty good stack of ult charges themselves.
They're cycling them perfectly here, John. Goodssen Absolute, they have to come back into this one. They have these huge engaging ultimates with the initiation. Going to use the rally, the sound barrier as well to boot on top of that. Frecia Gaming, they don't have this huge damage potential, so they've just got to sustain on point, and that's all down to Ash's positioning.
The contest coming on out. The Earthshatter blocked up and it's completely negated. Doesn't find what they're looking for. The charge comes out. It is cancelled out, and the Deadeye not able to find anything either. The flashbang finding Ethan, but the pressure is still on. The Earthshatter comes out, finds 2. Is nano boosted up, but not too long to be taken down. The projected barrier trying to keep the Reinhardt alive, but finally does fall out. 97% on the car. Which type of control are we going for here? Let's go for control point. Overtime ticket away, and Frecia Gaming don't care what sort of map it is. They're going to win this one for the start.
That was massive plays from either team. Goodssen Absolute, they come into that one strong. Frecia Gaming, they take it back, and like the wolf in their logo, when they smell the hunt is on, they will pursue it to the dogged end. And Frecia Gaming, they held onto that one very, very well. Oh Seung Woo, really playing his heart out there, especially blocking that Deadeye towards the end of really good reactions there, was able to keep on damaging the enemy Reinhardt, and then just before the Deadeye comes off, switches targets on to Kim Gyun-tae. Now, Kim Gyun-tae, he's going to be playing on this McCree once again, moving on to point, and with such limited sight lines here, the lanes are pretty small. McCree is a good choice.
Quite easy to try and negate any Farah pressure, but with Frecia on that 3-3, might find it a little bit more difficult. Plenty of pressure, plenty of shields as well to try and burn through. And that defense matrix is just going to make it so much harder to try and make this McCree work. You can see already Frecia on that point. They're holding strong. The flashbang not really getting anything. And they're getting pushed away as well. Eva maybe a little bit too far forwards there, gets most of the health bar chunked away, but back into the waiting arms of the rest of the team, and that 3-3 heal composition just has so much sustain, it's not going to matter too much. Again, they're just getting zoned up, and they're not finding the openings here, Blank. It's really just so difficult for them to step forwards, and with Lucio getting the first pick onto the Reinhardt, Frecia Gaming, they get the first cap.
It's slow, it's coordinated, it's clean. So far, Frecia Gaming, they have these spikes of defensive capabilities and then spikes of aggression as well as Goodssen Absolute. They have to change the decision making, change their playstyle in an instant to keep up.
Oh, they're trying to protect that sleeping Zarya. They managed to make it work as well. The rally is out, the nano boost is there. Not too sure where it went in for Niha, but they are going to go through. There's the sound barrier to keep them nice and healthy in the Graviton Surge. Earth Shatter available for Ash Takayaki. Looking to try and look for that back line. But already the Reinhardts are dueling back and forth. Zerg does not have it available. There's the Graviton Surge, just pinning them all in place. And it doesn't look like Goodssen Absolute can even step forwards out here into the waiting arms of Frecia.
They're really having a tough time here. So far, the Brigitte has been forced back at any moment. Ash Takayaki does not mind whatsoever to duel with that Brigitte. Drops down the fire strike. Couple of swings afterwards will put her out of action. The Brigitte's got to play really safe. Deadeye comes out now. Rivaldis uses the opportunity to drop the Deadeye with that shield, but Ash Takayaki's down.
They break the shield, and Kim Gyun-tae able to get the Deadeye straight through the side of it. He's going to get one more as well, and the boop onto Zarya. This is the opening that Goodssen Absolute need. 67% and ticking, but they are really looking shaky on this hold. And it gets sent back. The cap should be able to come through, but the contest is still there. 74%, 75 now, 3/4 done. Finally, they stay their claim.
Ash Takayaki finally down. He does get back onto the point for a short while. 79%, but they can play this one nice and slow because as long as they get a good recontest as they come out of spawn, they could potentially take this with just one push. But Jesus here, he's the one to watch out for. He has the Graviton coming up. Oh Seung-woo might be able to deter them with the self-destruct. But again, it's down to Ash Takayaki with the advantage on the Earth Shatter.
Have the Graviton Surge available for Jesus. And he drops it straight onto the lion statue. It's going to grab pretty much everyone there. One gets heal blocked and taken down as well. Ethan's there, but there's a nano charge Reinhardt looking to defend as well. The charges go down, but not before Ash Takayaki's able to negate Zert entirely. But it's a little bit too little too late for Frecia Gaming. They are going to have to reset.
Yeah, patience of a monk in the mountains, Frecia Gaming. They hold onto all of their ultimates here. The point of the game at the moment is just to hope that Goodssen uses all their ultimates early in these fights. There goes down the Graviton, and everything else, it's a bigger bang.
Oh, and the Brigitte shield actually keeping everyone nice and healthy. The sound barrier as well. Earth Shatter put in for Frecia Gaming. They've only found Tam from the back line. They can't capitalize it. It might be a little bit tricky, but with Zerg going down, they can start to ball up, go for this 3-3 composition. They get the flick as well. 63% for Goodssen, but 82 and gun counting for Frecia Gaming as they send them back to spawn again.
Goodssen understand they need to get out of there quick because the more they snag out, the less chance they have to get back onto this one. We're at 91% already, John, here. Rivaldis, he is a little bit behind on generation towards the Graviton, but he's higher charge at the moment.
Need to make sure no one can go for the sneaky backdoor contest because Kim Gyun-tae is there, double shatter, and they find 2 kills straight off the back of it. Zer falls as well to boot, and Kim Gyun-tae taken down. Frecia Gaming, they started off in style. They take the first map.
They are looking very, very strong here, but still, John, we have the rest of the maps to go. Control point, it's a good gauge of mechanical skill, which Ash Takayaki surely has.
Take a look at play of the game. Shatter up and available. As soon as Jesus goes down, everybody hits the deck. Brigitte the only one left standing, and that's the sort of shadow you want to be seeing from your team.
Indeed, it is. It's one that's perfectly timed, perfectly gauged, and it's the type of shadow where he doesn't use the charge afterwards, doesn't use the fire strike either, because he knows that he wants to get the rest of his team up to their ultimates. And that was the fight that was shortly after the graviton comes down, and in that moment, that's when he can start swinging. That's where he starts moving up to his own nerf shadow. So there's really good cycling so far from this team.
Yeah, and well, to cycle us on to break down the rest of this game, we're gonna bring back in Kicked Tripod. How you doing? You doing all right?
That was just a giant cluster of players, you know. As which one of you said that earlier? That was the funniest thing.
Nobody
I've
said
heard.
that. That did not happen.
I heard that earlier, and I laughed so hard I could not even. How you guys get so clever? I don't know. Let's break down this first map, though. It must be just the British thing. Are you both
It's
British?
the British air.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Breathe it in,
Like-
and we absorb its power.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, let's talk about this first one. I mean, this one pretty decisively in the favor of oh my god, why can't I
Frecia.
ever think of Frecia? Thank you so much. But let's talk about what didn't Goodssen Absolute do on this map to really be able to challenge Frecia in the way that they wanted to, Blank.
I think at the moment, a lot of this comes down to Zer's positioning on the Reinhardt. A lot of times, really, Ash Takayaki just seems to have his number. We saw so many times where he tried to get the Earth Shadow down behind Gravitons, but a lot of his movement patterns are quite obvious and quite televised almost. So Ash Takayaki is always able to hold out, know where he's coming from, drop the shield up. The Earth Shadow comes down, he's blocked it out. I think he blocked a total of 4 out of the 5 Earth Shadows that Zer actually threw out in that fight. It's just this amazing cycling from Frecia, and sometimes you do see Goodssen Absolute overinvest in these fights. I think they need to tone it back a little bit, maybe cycle backwards into their ultimates.
A lot
So
of cycling metaphors going on there. I like it.
yeah, nice job. What about on the side of Frecia Gaming? What are they doing really well right now that is just kind of really causing GSA to struggle?
I think that something that we have seen is the incorporation of Anna into this 3-3 composition, and they seem to have just completely taken to that. And GSA, they just haven't been able quite to move back in with the same strength to try and counter that out. We haven't seen them go over onto that Farah that's normally that get counter to the 3-3, where they've been sort of left alone. And I think Frecia are really flourishing when they're just going for those head-on duels, because they are just so stalwart in their presence in open division as well as their defenses.
Fair enough. We're about to go into Watch Point Gibraltar here. So, I mean, is this something that you guys think we can see turned around here for Goodssen Absolute? What do they need to change into map 2, John?
I want to see more. I said before, I want to see more Doomfist. I want to see more Sombra. I want to see that composition come through that just makes it hell to play things like Zen, even like Anna. If you can't hit, these players should be hitting those sleep dots, but if you use it and you bait it out, that's when it just becomes hell to play against this composition. And even if you take out the Doomfist, you have that Sombra to contest with. If you take down the Sombra, you have the Doomfist just bearing down your back. And it's so difficult to play a stationary support when you're being pressured like that. So I'd really like to see Goodssen try and maybe go over to something like that, but that will remain to be seen.
Chat, we're seeing, here's what we're seeing. We're seeing a pattern here. When a team isn't playing well, John wants to see Doomfist. He just
I want
wants
to see
Doomfist.
No. Even if a team are playing well, I want to see Doomfist. That's
fair. He just wants to see Doomfist at the end of it. Well, we're about 30 seconds away into Watch Point Gibraltar. I'm going to get out of here. This isn't my place. I don't belong here. Go ahead, guys. Take it away.
I can't tell if that's KT making a Radiohead reference or he's genuinely upset and he can't join us on the cast. Yeah, it is. It is. I love it. Don't worry. You are special. You are special, KT. Yeah.
So very special.
So very special. Now, Goodssen Absolute, really, the thing here for me is that Frecia Gaming, a lot that we saw on Control, John, was this free comp. Now, it doesn't work as well on Gibraltar, where there are so many vertical places and high grounds that you have to contest, and free does not work here. So we've not seen their dive So now here's the moment for Goodssen to perhaps show a side of us that we've not seen before.
Well, they're going to get off to a good start already, getting the D-Mech and the Mini Diva. Kim Gyute winning out the Widow duel to boot. So a nice set of pickups so far. The headshot onto the Winston, seeing them back around the corner, which means that underneath that underpass remains relatively uncontested, which is a really strong holding point, and they're zoned off blue box as well, Blank.
It's very hard to get back onto point now, especially now Kim Gyute is now in server room. This is a really hard point to contest a Widow within. That shield has to be up there to keep the supports nice and safe. And you see the Zenyatta has to poke out.
Oh, poke out you will, but not going to get his head taken off just yet. Yaki is going to take down Zern. They might start to mount their defense here with Kim Gyute actually trading it back pretty evenly. With that infra site, however, they are going to start to round the corner. 2 tanks left on the payload to try and contest, but Tampa, he's got the Dragon Blade out. He's just going to chop them up tiny little pieces. And he's going to get nano boosted up as well. Diva, not going to be long for this one. D-Mech coming through. Contest still there, but not for long. They are going to see it off.
Yeah, he gets that nano boost back so very quickly. And giving Tampa 22% towards his next Dragon Blade never hurt anybody.
No, certainly didn't. The headshot, Kim Gyute winning out these Widow duels pretty consistently at this stage, I think. Again, just taking out the Winston. You can see why Good Tripod wanted us to look, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we saw glimmers of hope towards the first start of that control center. He absolutely popped the far out of the air, and that was immediately switched off, and they went over to 3-3. They don't have the luxury of 3-3 on Gibraltar, where they have to contest this high ground, so Kim Gyute is having a field day.
Oh, Yaki gets first hit off onto Legend on that Ana. They are just going to try and keep it rolling, and then one more goes through onto Tampa, so 2 players down. That should be the signal that the fight is lost, and they're going to actually just beat a hasty retreat, it seems.
And a very nice stagger for Frecia Gaming here. They retain a lot of their ultimates, even 50% towards that big EMP. I can imagine that Frecia Gaming here probably want to get rid of a couple of these ultimates, because when EMP does get popped, that's an opportunity for the rest of the team to charge up their own ultimates. So they can be pretty aggressive here whilst Ethan just farms up to his next ultimate.
Oh, nice read on that one from Kim Gyute, moving back away from that Winston's position. We'll just come back into the fight when he's ready to do so. Ethan trying to hack from the top line, but the pulse bomb already finding Tampa. And that should be, again, just a major source of healing with Kim Gyute going down. They just need to build up ult charge, if anything, in this fight.
Exactly. Now, Frecia Gaming, like I said, they're dropping out the Valkyrie, they're dropping out the Pulse Bomb. They can afford to do this. Ethan now 15% towards that. Goodssen Absolute, they're flailing in the dark. They've switched up their comp so many times. They're not quite sure what's working and what's not. Obviously, they've got Legend now on the Brigitte to hopefully challenge out Enemy, but at the moment, he's been playing very far away from a lot of the Brigitte's basically zones, but at the moment it's just going really well for them.
Oh, there's the rally up the stairs, trying to keep everyone nice and healthy, but those micro missiles, they are not taking any names. They are just going to be kicking ass all day. And that's exactly what they do on the staircase in close quarters. They're taken down.
It's a perfect EMP placement. They know the Goodssen Absolute are trying to find positioning on this high ground, and they have to go as a unit to survive it. So EMP comes down, and then the Monkey's just doing 360 damage per second to all 6 members. They're pretty much just going to fall so quickly with no healing on top of it.
And moving forwards, they're trying to get the rally pressure. The recall from the Tracer keeps them nice and safe, but the Pulse Bomb isn't going to connect with too much. However, Tampa's waiting in the wings. They're trading it back relatively evenly. But with that D-Mech, it's Frecia on the back foot into this fight. Zarya moving forwards with the Winston, Yaki getting zoned away. And they're just going to be able to push that payload up the ramp even further. Goodssen Absolute, they seem to have fixed what might have been wrong.
Enemy, though, still on the back lines, able to contest this point whilst the rest of the team comes on. And there's a Brigitte bash coming out in full.
The charge from Zer, just try and reposition. Transcendence is up as well. It's coming out, but it's going to burn on through. Jesus has got that armor, and the Deadeye finds 2 picks from the skyline. Kim Gyute finds the D-Mech as well. This is a brilliant start to the fight, and they should be able to close it down pretty sharpish. The flashbang kill over onto Espresso. It's going to keep them nice and refreshed.
just a bit of an added light show towards the end as a victory flashbang. You know what's really good here is he actually came through onto point C running this Zarya Reinhardt comp, which is fairly difficult actually, especially with second point where high ground can be contested. Obviously Frecia game they weren't running a Widow here, but it does mean Goodssen Absolute comes into point C with a Graviton.
Oh, grouping pretty much everyone nice and close together. Whereas the Reinhardt needs to be getting that charge on up, but it's not going to matter with the rest of the team. Just getting completely wiped. Only the Diva left standing and all the way back at Sport, so not much to do there.
Yeah, and Zer's able to swing into that one as well and we are so close to the finish line here with a good Earth Shatter on top of a sustaining sound barrier. This next fight could go quite easily in the favor of Goodssen Absolute.
Pushing forwards, they have got that Earth Shatter available for Zer. Goodssen Absolute looking to try and place it right. The Shatter not quite heading around the corner. Unfortunately, everyone was in cover, and Ashtakiyaki able to find the backline of Legends. Frecia Gaming coming out from spawn, and they're coming out strong. They're going to be able to push them back, and they have to regroup for Goodssen Absolute. 1 minute 55 left on the clock.
Oh, Zer in a really awful spot here. I mean, he's trying to challenge out Ash Takayaki, who's now switched over back to the Rhine. And if history is anything to go by, especially that control point, Ash Takayaki absolutely had Zer's number all the time. Now, it will be down to Jesus to be opening these points, and maybe Zer's playing under pressure now.
Nice read on that flame strike from Oh Seung-woo. So able to eat that with the defense matrix, but the nano boosts are out. They are on both of these squads at the moment. The Brigitte actually taken the one for Frecia Gaming. First pick goes over onto Espresso, the charge in towards that Graviton surge, and Zer just rains all the damage down. They respond in kind with the Graviton, but there's no one there ready to give out the damage, and they are just getting pressure back towards their spawn. A minute left on the clock, and there's another Earth Shatter just being sent out. The rally is popped by Legends, and they hold it. About a minute on the clock for Goodssen Absolute all the way home.
If Zer can't hit the Earth Shatters when Ash Takiyaki's around, you know what you do, John? You just get rid of him in the first place. So you just kind of solo Graviton him with the Brigitte in the mix as well as, but she's not necessary to the recipe. You only really need the Reinhardt in the pot. And then you take him out of the equation and everything else is just easy sailing from there. So good decision reading from Goodssen Absolute to understand what they need to do. I think they've identified the problem now. The question is, can they keep bringing the solutions?
Solutions is what we need.
Yeah.
We'll see if they're able to do it.
Solutions.
Yeah, some hard work through. Obviously, you know, maybe learned a little bit of differential calculus, trying to get those hard-fought solutions.
John.
But yeah,
No, John.
no,
John, no.
no.
No Johnisms, please.
What are you on about?
Where I got differential calculus coming up. I'm already trying to pronounce all these names.
I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to integrate it with
That's fair enough.
the rest of the broadcast.
You got to bring it into the esports as well. It's the way it works. Differential calculus. So
We've
important.
both had one now. We've both had a boo.
We've both had a boo. That's what matters. I mean, I was gonna make a joke, but it involves
Well, you gotta make it now.
and I can't make it because we only got 30 seconds. So I've got to talk about the team comps here. Frecia Gaming. I'm sorry, dude, but we got peanut butter on the floor. Where do we go from there? That's the question.
You go where you want, mate. I'm having a great time.
I bet you are. You're not the one having to unleash the peanut butter. I'm having to break the lid on this joke, and I don't have a joke within the bottle, you see? Now, Goodssen Absolute, they're on the defense now. Kim Gyu-tae playing the Widowmaker will be able to hold this high ground. If we take any note from the last game we watched with the two teams in the best of 8, this high ground is highly coveted, and being able to hold on to it is extremely important. And a lot of times we saw Owner go down early. I don't think we'll see that from Kim Gyu-tae, so he's going to be a strong foundation in the back line on the Widow.
Controlling on that blue high ground, blue box. Just trying to keep it there. You got the Winston, you got the Diva. Just a very standard, easy hold for them. Very difficult to displace from that position.
No, just holding it for the time being. Zer waiting to draw, because then he can use the leap afterwards. Does find Oh Seung-woo. Now Kim Gyu-tae looking for the shots, hiding behind the Brigitte shield, making sure the Genji can't find into position, and that's the shot we were looking for.
Yeah, landing a headshot onto Nihal is just going to be so devastating for the push from Frecia. They do have to invest that res. So they mean that Kim Gyu-tae has all the more threat there. to try and keep them moving forwards. But they stay out the sidelines. They might come on to a winner. Kim Butte is getting zoned away. You can see plenty of tanks just moving that way. That biotic grenade doing so much work for Goodssen on the defense at the moment. Kim Butte looking to get the D-mech, but not quite able to land the shots necessary. D-flip from the Genji, Espresso low, and the headshots through. With the Mercy down, it's going to be real tricky for Frecia Gaming to keep moving forwards, but they have that Dragon Blade. No, they don't. He's dead. They've got that nano boost as well, so maybe the next push, that's where they're going to be looking for.
Exactly. Next push, like you say, that's where it's going to be. The EMP, the Dragon Blade, the Nano Boost, the Valkyrie. This next push is going to be monumental. It'll be down to Legend here if he can get out the Transcendence in time, because that would be the main factor here to prevent things from happening. And also, Vipik, he needs to stay in the back line with Kim Butte and make sure that the Genji cannot find that opening, find that target. So he needs to be ready and waiting.
Look at the ultimates flank. 5 up for the Frecia Gaming.
It's looking
There's
bad.
a 75% on the Sept as well. Look at Ethan. He's so ready. Where's he going to drop it? And he comes out. And there we go. The Transcendence has been popped as well to try and keep them alive. But the Dragon Blade's there. It's been nano boosted. 2 kills onto 2 supports. And that's a brilliant opening for them. The Diva mech is under pressure as well. And they've zoned them off the payload. It's going to turn the corner. And that is a devastating fight found for Frecia Gaming. With only 3 ults invested, they still have 3.
Wow, enemy there. Mechanically, just perfect. Positionally, just perfect. Everything he did was correct in that situation. His target selection was on point, and now they're able to push through that. I want to take note of Frecia Gaming. They only invested 3 ultimates there, and they still have the Valkyrie to push on through. And with this heavy stagger that enemy's pulling out, look, he's already 70% towards that next Dragon Blade.
It's so close. And Goodssen Absolute don't really have too much to counter it here.
Already
It's going to be pretty tricky. Exactly. They have got that Primal Rage. They almost have the rally, so they might be able to sustain up to another ultimate, but it'd be really tricky, Blake.
It would really be tricky. Sure, Zer might be able to push the Genji off for a short while, but that's why he's got 2 shifts available. There is the Monkey with the Nano Boost on top of him.
Yeah, a little bit maybe of an over-investment there, dropping the Nano Boost on the already Primal Raging Winston. Don't really get too much benefit for that. And they've just burnt pretty much all the ultimates they had. Enemy still has got that Dragon Blade. Looking to maybe try and find a sidelines pick, but Ash Takayaki did use the Primal Rage in that fight as well. Oh, not fight, that little skirmish. So they're waiting for that shield bash to come through. They're waiting for the Genji to have the opportunity, and with Nano Boost up available as well, it's going to be real tricky. Ethan finds the EMP, and he finds the pick off onto Tamperin again. Just finds both of those supports. Kim Butte trying his best to try and come back into the fight, and he's not doing a bad shout of it as well. Finding 1-2, and it's going to be enemy going down. Zer and Kim Butte just holding down the hatches.
Oh yeah, I mean, he pulled them absolutely shut on Frecia Gaming. Sure, they got the big combo off, but they were ready and waiting for it. This time, Kim Butte, he has the flashbang available. He has the orb on top of him at all times. So he's essentially their linchpin. Really, what they're waiting for is Zer and Jesus to hold in the front line with the VIPKs and rally on top of him. The armor is essential there to survive the beginning fight, and as long as Kim Butte can hold on, they should win that in terms of damage.
But with that, the ult advantage has swung in the favor of Goodssen Absolute. Frecia Gaming need to build up some here, but they might just go for the picks instead with VIP going down early on. It's going to be real tricky to try and have that forward pressure that they've had before. No armor being dealt out as well as those instant heals. Very difficult to deal with. There's Kim Butte again with that Deadeye, not finding anything this time around. Goodssen Absolute burn their ultimates. Frecia Gaming, they might try and look to get back into this one, but it's a little bit too far forward there from Ethan. Back into the waiting arms though for healing Espresso and Nihal, and they're finding their picks as well. The enemy gets that Widow shot through. The Diva trading off onto the counterpart, and the second on the Venom Mine onto Zer. Enemy starting to rain on into this fight. Nihal finding the counterpart as well. Frecia Gaming, they are starting to keep that pressure forwards. Kim Butte falls off the edge of the map somewhere, I think. They are just going to roll it on. Second cap.
Yeah, that sweet embrace of caffeine there, giving Frecia Gaming the extra oomph that they needed to push on through. Goodssen absolute. Kim Gyu-tae goes back over the Widowmaker. Not wrong, especially on point C, where the sight lines are so very, very long. But Animi's waiting for it. Now, you can see him just poking on the top, but has Animi spotted him, goes for the click shot, doesn't quite find it. Oh Sung-woo will be able to throw this D.Va self-destruct over the top, but more likely he's going to use it as a defensive tool on the point to bump him up to 1,200 HP.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky
no,
though.
just
There
do
we
that.
go. He's just going to chuck it out. Get the double kill. 2 supports. Again, these are the openings that Frecia Gaming are relying on. They just get that backline dismantled, and then they just clean it on up. You can see Ethan just swinging away at that D.Va. Not a chance in hell for Goodssen absolute on that ult.
Kim Gyu-tae just being forced back at every opportunity so far. Frecia Gaming, they are dismantling the front line like I was talking about earlier, and that's how they're winning these fights. It's much more difficult though when you've got an nano-boosted monkey. He has to force back, but Animi still finds a pick in the midst of all that chaos.
And that's no Transcendence available for the ensuing fight. Because it was the Zenyatta to go down, Ethan takes chances and will go on forward. The Valkyrie available for Espresso should they choose to pull it out. Ash Takayaki gets the lead on to VIP, and there's the Transcendence. A little bit late, they were holding it. They were waiting to try and counter out that grand source of healing with their own, and they've seen just how it's going to work. Moving forwards now, Anime even going to be grappling onto that bridge, and the headshot onto VIP means no brawling presence onto the point. The self-destruct sequence thrown out. Not going to find anything. The mini D.Va was taken out as well. 50 seconds left on the clock and ticking those, so they're down below the timeline. But the self-destruct is going to zone everyone away. They even it up.
What a display of a finish with the Transcendence and the self-destruct. They didn't even have to use them to get all the way to the end there, but we have tied it up here. Both teams very, very similar time banks, but both teams relying on these big ultimate combos, especially on point A to move on through. The Nano Blades were essential for Frecia Gaming. Goodssen absolute, they had to find that opening. The question is, can Frecia Gaming find the Nano Blade first? Can they find it quick enough? And will they move further than point B?
It's all on the wire. Frecia Gaming, though, having a little bit of a stumble here on Watchpoint Gibraltar after what was a really very dominant performance on their first outing in this quarterfinal. This second map, not really as strong at all. Goodssen absolute seem to have caught on just a little bit. So maybe a couple of changes of what's necessary. Maybe this wrecking ball will actually roll out.
Control, they were very, very strong as a tight-knit team, which is what we saw. We saw them playing together, and that seems to be their forte. On Gibraltar, you really need to split your attention, have 2 separate units of 3 members and 3 members, and here's where Frecia Gaming seem to be dropping the ball a little bit, whereas Goodssen absolute, they're very happy to play as separate units on the group whatsoever. Still, they lost out in the end, but 1 minute to either side, anything could happen, John.
It'll be tricky, but Goodssen absolute. They have got the chance here. 51 seconds left on the time, and look at where they're hidden.
This is naughty right here.
Certainly is. Cheeky, to say the least, but Frecia Gaming should be aware that something's up. You can see Brigitte just spy checking for the Sombra moving forwards. They're a little bit aware, and they just are able to move back. Goodssen just getting heal blocked as well, and Frecia Gaming, they come out really, really strong on the back of what was supposed to be a complete surprise, and Ethan from the skies just completely dismantling them as well with all the damage you could ask for. That was pretty clean there from Frecia Gaming.
A very impressive spy check, like you were saying. They send down Oh Seung-woo with the Brigitte. Brigitte's able to get out at a moment's notice. The armor pack keeps Oh Seung-woo very, very healthy, and they're not relying on this Nano Blade whatsoever, regardless of just using Ethan to put in that consistent damage.
Oh, there's a heal block onto Kim Gyu-tae. We'll get taken down pretty quickly. Overtime's ticking away, and they're nearly up to that first capture point. Looking to put that 4th point on the board. Zert able to just swing that hammer. They're looking to capture it, and again, they're just holding so strong here. Not too sure there's too much in that shatter, just straight onto the Ana. They don't want any more to do with those sleep dots, with those biotic grenades. Just keeping everyone nice and safe, but Kim Gyu-tae's over onto the Doomfist. This is exactly what I said I wanted to see, Blank. He's looking for that rocket punch.
Oh
Finds it onto the fire in the sky. What a beautiful pickoff. This is why I want to see the Doomfist, because of plays like that, but the payloads get discontested.
We punching birds today, guys, apparently. I didn't know that was possible. I didn't know it was a hobby, but apparently it's one that Kim Gyu-tae has. Let's take a quick replay. I want to see that in action one more time.
Yeah, that was a pretty swish little set of mechanics there.
See how
Doomfist.
fast he got back to the point as well.
It was pretty crazy. I mean, that's why I like to see Doomfist, you know? I mean, just take a look and like that's just so beautiful onto the Farah, the charge, the rocket punch into the wall. Aerial threats, says who?
Denied.
Says who? Absolutely.
Exactly. Now, Goodssen Absolute, they're feeling a little bit of a better position now because they know they don't have to push it all the way past point B. Point B is one of those places where to reset the spawn timer, at least you get quite far on the attacking team before you can even start to contest the point, potentially even that first corner around the dropship. In this situation, Goodssen Absolute, they've ticked about 50 meters off the long trek that they have to make around to point C. Frecia Gaming, however, they've got to find a way to stop them here and now. If anything to look that beforehand, they had trouble holding onto this high ground, so they've really got to hold on to it now. They're not running D.Va or Winston, so once they're knocked off here, they're knocked off for good.
A little bit of parkour there from Anime. Able to just jump on around onto the blue box high ground contest. They do have a lot of ground to cover, and Goodsen Absolute don't have a lot of time to do so. A standard hold might just be enough. But Frecia Gaming, they need to pull it out here.
Yeah, they absolutely do. They're running on the side of Goodssen Blue a very, very tanky front line where Tampa's just going to be playing around these corners, and to get into his face as Frecia Gaming, it's going to be heavy damage onto them. So they've got to be careful here. Takayaki absolutely cannot go down early, and this armor pack's going to be critical to keeping him alive.
Not only that, but the projected barrier from the Zarya, just keeping him nice and healthy. The charge straight onto Kim Gyute, pinning the enemy Reinhardt in. Means the only shield left is the Orisa, and it's already up on the payload. They have to fall back, and that's an Earth Shatter available for Takayaki already. 22 seconds left on the clock blank, and this needs to be a hard reset from Goodssen.
You could see money in that Reinhardt's eyes as he spotted 4 of the members all on a clear path upwards, but he knows that he has to hold on this Earth Shatter. This has to be the money moment as they push on through. Hamster comes out, but the patience is here.
Oh, there's the Graviton Surge, just keeping everyone away. Only Vipke on this Wrecking Ball, able to go for this contest, and the rest of his team just falling around his ears. Only the one left. They're trying to push forward, but it's a little bit too late. They've still got that Earth Shatter up. Kim Gyute, though, that's going to find a pretty big opening, however. They're into the fray, they're into the fight, but Ethan is the first to find the frag, and it's Ash. I can't remember the rest of the syllables there, but there we go. He's going to get it. The hammer is going down, and the nano boost as well to keep nice and healthy. This pressure is forwards, and Frecia Gaming, they take watch point Gibraltar.
But it was a little bit tough for them. There were cracks in the armor. The blood was showing here. The blood was flowing from Frecia Gamer. They are not unbeatable, and that's exactly what Goodssen Absolute have to find out in these situations. They've done absolutely marvelously to push them so far on Gibraltar from what was a pretty tremendous, convincing victory on the control point for Frecia Gaming.
So clean there from Tampa on the play of the game. A very good performance. Frecia now 2-0 in the series. They are almost ready. They are on the precipice. They have the match point. They're looking to move to that semi-final, taking on the victors from last game, Wildcat Gaming, as well. So Frecia Gaming, they're one map away. But we're moving on to Temple of Anubis next. And that's where we saw a little bit of an upset in our first series of the day blank.
Well, it's a little bit of the momentum shift, sorry, and that's what we're hoping to see from Goodssen Absolute here. Can they bring it back? That is the big question. Zer so far made a massive improvement from his Reinhardt play from Gibraltar point A to Gibraltar point A on the second attempt. It's great to see, and it looks like he's starting to almost fit into this situation, start to less look up to Ash Takayaki, but see him eye to eye.
Yeah, certainly are. But to talk a little bit more, help us talk a little bit more about it, because we can't talk on our own. We need supervision. It's going to be coming from Kick Tripod. How you doing?
All right, everybody, sit down in a circle, cross legs, hold hands. It's time for the halftime show. Woo! All right, let's talk. Exactly. Thank you for the sound effects. Let's talk about this first half here, and I want to just ask you, John, who's really standing out for you right now, performance-wise, from these two teams?
I'm struggling to find one person who is the standout in these teams. I mean, we've seen really strong performances from these Annas, but you're essentially just there as a hit scan. If you get zoned away, the rest of your team responds for you. So Anna, you do have a strong performance, but it's difficult to shine in a way that you can on a DPS. And again, I just haven't seen that coming out from really anyone. I just think that Frecia Gaming have that cohesive unit that is really, really strong when it comes to these close range fights. Having said that, I do think that the Widow play was very, very strong from Kim Gyute. So I give you props at the start of the series for calling that one out as a strong player to watch. So maybe I'll give it over to the standout from that Widowmaker display.
What about for you, Blank? Who's standing out for you right now?
It's tough. It really is tough. I mean, for me personally, it's a bit of a coin flip because we've got Anami on the head side, we've got Kim Gyute on the tail side, and the reason for this is because Kim Gyute has these amazing moments where he'll pop off and open it up for the team. Anime has much of the same. However, these are balanced between phases of, oh, Anime's pretty good right now. Oh, Kim Gyute's pretty good right now. And they're shifting constantly. The scales are going up and down. And it's tough to give it to one single person because it is so close, despite Frecia being 2-0 right now. I think what we're going to see here on Hanamura or Temporal News, depending on where it goes. Currently, we're not sure. It will really depend who starts to like come into the fold, who gets the momentum shift, and generally. It's probably the hit scan player. In this situation, Anime's been playing a lot of the projectile with Kim Gyute. He's starting to warm up now.
Well, there's something to be said as we go into 2CP. We've noticed it. We saw this in South America in Chinese contenders. We're seeing this now in Korean Open Division. That when it comes to these 2 control point maps, it can very much favor a team that is not necessarily winning these other map types for some reason. We've seen this kind of over and over. It's a very snowbally type of thing, and this is absolutely a map that we can see Goodssen Absolute come back in, get back in, bring the series to 2-1, I guess it would be, and utilize. I'm gonna ask John, what do you want to see from Goodssen Absolute, and I'm gonna answer it for him. Doomfist and Wrecking Ball. He wants to see Doomfist and Wrecking Ball. He wants to see Goodssen Absolute change it up a little bit, be a little bit more fearless, not be afraid to be the aggressor. But if I'm wrong, add to that for me, please, John. What do you want to see from Goodssen Absolute in the second half?
No, I don't need to add anything.
All
right, fair enough. Here we go.
Wow, he's just done that. He's ready. He's ready.
That's all I want is the Doomfist. We saw how strong it was coming out from Kim Gyute right at the end there, able to contest the Farah in the skies. And that's something special. So I'm going to keep harping on about it. Doomfist right now, very, very strong, as is that Sombra. And when you combo them together, magic happens. And that's what I want to see.
Fair enough. Blank, if you are Frecia Gaming right now, you're up 2-0. How do you make sure you don't get into that second half slump there that we're seeing these teams that are up 2-0 just really struggle on Assault?
I think we go back to on Control Center and we see it on Assault as well as we want to go back to that cohesive unit. When we saw Frecia Gaming playing as a unit, having each of us back, playing around Ash Takayaki's shield, that's when we saw them excel. So it's absolutely fine to rely on this 3-3 and run with that if you need to and modify it slightly to go against Goodssen Absolute's Kim Gyute on the hit scan, possibly throw a Genji in there or a Winston on top of it and switch out these. You probably still have the Diva on there and still run the Zarya as well as. These are all things that can be changed. The other thing you have to watch out for is when you do switch these things is that you can play your composition properly. But I really would like to start to see this cohesive death ball that Frecia Gaming seem to do so very well at, and stop trying to counter Goodssen Absolute so much, but rather play to their own strengths.
What would you say their own strengths are in this situation? I noticed that they tended to play the best when they were just kind of in a traditional goats comp. Just kind of let that aggression just kind of go through. And I hate that because, I mean, we've been watching GOATs now for like, what, 5 months and casting it early on Saturday mornings. So, like, there's also that intangible, just I associate Saturday mornings with GOATs now. And it's just not the way that I
You wake
want
up
to
and you're
be.
like, oh
Yeah,
no.
it's Goats Day, Saturday. So besides that, though,
Let me
I
pick up
mean,
his hooves.
would you say that that's kind of the play style that we've seen Frecia at their best right now?
Yeah, 100%. 100%,
Yeah.
Katie. I completely agree. Is that they are really doing well when they play as this unit and they play together. And it seems that they fall back on the sustain, the massive sustain that they do get from the free healers. And they're often able to just play that one out. And the cycling ultimates became much more prevalent when they had them to use. At the moment, though, they're getting ultimates during fights. And I think teams, a lot of things that it's overlooked is as you get ultimates during a fight, it's not as cut as dry as well, before you start fight. Oh, we've got self-destruct, we've got earth shadow. We'll use the earth shadow first and then try combo with that, the self-destruct afterwards. You've got to make those decisions on the fly, and a lot of times during that pressure of those 15 to 10 seconds where you're fighting, that can be enough to crush a team, as we've seen it so far for Frecia. This is an opportunity for Goodssen Absolute to bring it back. If Frecia continue to play to the weaknesses of Goodssen Absolute, and like I said, not to their own strengths.
Yeah. Well, we're about to get into Temple of Anubis here in just a second. But before we do, let me tell you a little bit about Broadcast.gg, because this would not be happening. We would not get Korean Open Division in English if it wasn't for the awesome folks at Broadcast.gg. So first, up there, John's going to punch it for you.
No, I'm not.
Punch it.
I'm all punched out.
Punch it. Thank
I love
you.
the clock.
All right. Thank you. So, punch it, Chewy. Oh my gosh. Anyways, Broadcast.gg makes all these amazing tier 2 and tier 3 Overwatch tournaments possible. We brought you the English broadcast of Contenders South America and China. Brought you Open Division Contenders Trials for NA and EU. We're doing a lot of really cool stuff here. Every bit of support helps, including following the channel, following us on Twitter as well at Broadcast.gg. And if you're like, you know what, I can do what blank does, I could probably do it better than blank. Number one, you'd be lying to yourself. You can get there someday. Join our Discord by clicking on the panels down below. We'd love to have you, get you plugged in. I know someone wants to be an in-depth analyst already in Twitch chat. I saw that message. We'll get you plugged in, dude. I promise. I'll connect you with Volmel right away. You guys will get along great. We're gonna jump in though. Map number 3. Frecia Gaming up 2-0 over Goodssen Absolute. Go ahead. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys in another map. Go ahead and take it away, guys.
Well, there we go. Frecia Gaming, they have match point 2-0. Temple of Anubis, though, we've seen it go awry before. Maybe we'll see it go awry again.
I think it says it all when you say the phrase, John, Temple of Anubis, though. There's always a but when it comes to Temple of Anubis, am I right?
How big is that but?
Large in this situation, right?
A large
We've seen it so many times. Goodssen Absolute, they have the potential here. They're running a very much disruption-heavy composition. Frecia Gaming, they might not be expecting this amount of speed coming out from this comp.
Very tricky to deal with it, but we're seeing the Doomfist blank. We are seeing it. Tampa is rolling it out. I'm really excited. I want to see him contesting the Widowmaker, putting pressure on Nihao on that Ana as well, and following the lead from Kim Butte, just keeping up the damage. And already seems like he's doing just that, disrupting that high ground, making it work with Anomi going down early on. There's no Widow pressure, and the rest of them just getting zoned away completely. A beautiful start for Goodssen, and they are really taking my Doomfist and Bites to heart and making it work.
It is the problem is Frecia playing this bird nest comp where they hold down one position and they have a single rotation, which is the other parallel platform. A lot of the times enemy, they've only got really one use of that transition. Ethan's only got 2 concussion mines, whereas Goodssen Absolute, they have tons and tons of mobility and a huge amount of DPS, which just means that wherever you go, Frecia Gaming are going to be able to follow, and already they might get absolutely demolished here.
Oh, they are straight onto this point. They're ready to go for the fight. Jesus just holding it down, trying to walk on the water of the point B. They're falling it back. I felt like that was an all right pun. I'll take it.
You take it. We'll take it. Like bread and wine, we'll have it at the end. But Tampa moving his way through, and Ethan's Riptide actually getting taken down by Jesus in the back of that fray, and already, Anubis goes down.
Goodssen absolutely dominate on Temple of Anubis on the first point.
New name, John.
Absolutely. 6
Goodssen
minutes and 18
dominates.
seconds. More than 6 minutes on the clock. That is an incredible performance here, especially for that first push. And Frecia Gaming, that's got to put the fear of God in them.
Really, really does. And they will smite thee down with furious vengeance and anger. And this is exactly what we've seen so far from Goodssen Absolute. It's been pretty ridiculous. And you know what? Frecia Gaming, they've got to be scared of the tyranny of evil men at this point. Ethan, he has the Genji in the pocket at the moment. I doubt it's going to stay. It'd be weird if it stayed after seeing exactly what Doomfist and Hamster can do there, and rather they're going to go for something a little bit more aggressive. Goodssen Absolute, however, on the other hand, they're just running something pretty crazy. That's their defense, just full DPS. I mean, they don't really need to care about this first point A when you got 6 minutes remaining in the bank to work with. That's a lot of time, and you know what? They're pretty wealthy right now.
Just rolling it on up, Frecia Gaming. They might be able to have a similar performance, you know, Temple of Anubis, as we all know, as we keep harping on about. Anything can happen. Even a Jive Winston. It can all happen.
It really can. A Jive Winston is probably my favorite Winston.
Yeah.
It's the best dance.
I'm a Jive Winston, tag yourself.
I'm a Jive Winston, tag yourself. And the one that eats peanut butter as well, exactly that one as well. Goodssen Absolute, however, running some crazy comp once again. I assume this is going to be centered around moving around point A, finding the cracks in the armor and opening it up basically to get to the team within. Frecia Gaming, however, they're going to run Ethan on the Sombra, try and counter anything they try and do with this, but already looking pretty terrifying.
Oh, it's the Doomfist. Oh, he's going to wreak havoc. Straight into the backline, straight into the front lines as well. Everywhere he's needed. And the rocket punch is out. Oh, the translocator just saving the life there of Ethan. But for how long is the question? Another rocket punch comes out straight to the wall. The Reinhardt is sent the uppercut in close quarters. Really not going to do wonders for your health, I'm afraid.
Not really. That's something you probably should see the doctor about, maybe a nutritionalist, depending. But see, Goodssen Absolute, they hold strong on the point. Ethan really wanting to be able to use the Sombra hack to better advantage, but already tampers up towards this Meteor Strike, which is basically a free kill into Frecia Gaming. They don't have a mercy to res something up, so they're relying on this huge amount of healing.
Oh, straight on in. Piledriver finds 3, sends it straight up. The Meteor Strike is there as well. Layers it down, keeps that Reinhardt pressured into the sidelines. But there comes pretty much, I think there was a shatter there. And there's the EMP as well being thrown on out, and Ethan's just going to start to roll on forwards, but Kim Gyute has that Dragon Blade, already looking for that backline. They are on the point, however. Frecia Gaming looking to rack up the capture. They've already spent quite a bit of time here, and the contest is looking to come through. So they might just be able to back it off. They have got quite a stalwart hold here. Hack not quite out, but there's the EMP to make it happen. Frecia Gaming, they're going to be able to take this first capture. Pretty sharpish. As soon as that Doomfist goes down, all is done.
They really ideally wanted to keep a hold of the EMP for next fight, which is why you see Ethan go so very far forward. Gonna hack the Mega Pack. That is oftentimes a bit of an issue in longer fights where an enemy team member will drop down, find the Mega. In this situation, that's blocked off. Now, Goodssen Absolute, they're still in a good position, especially with such close quarters on point B. The minefield is available for that.
There's the rally. Frecia Gaming looking to move forwards. They've got 5 minutes, 50 seconds, so a lot of time. Still less than Goodssen Absolute, though. They can't hope to beat that time back, unfortunately, but self-destruct sequence sent onto point, not going to find anything. Frecia still looking for those picks, but a beautiful cancel from the shield bash on Ash Takayaki. It's just going to mean that they have to wait and hold on for another day. Tampa has another Meteor Strike. He's just going to chuck it down and only going to the ground, and that is going to be a beautiful crush coming out. Tampa, this Doomfist showing just why I was excited to see it.
There's a pile driver. There's a Meteor Strike. I don't know. Someone on the side of Goodssen Absolute must have had some real trouble with insects recently because they are intending to make bug splats out of the side of Frecia Gaming. Now, we have the Lucio Ultimate, we have the Coalescence, we're going to have the Rally soon as well as, and again, what we've seen time and time and again, John, is Frecia Gaming relying on this heavy sustain. We saw it on point A, where they're able to use the Coalescence and also the Rally to remain in that fight for as long as possible, finally get to the point. Now we're seeing shades of the same here. The supportive ultimates are going to be the key to find their way onto point B.
Have a lot to contest with, though. See if Ethan's able to build up that EMP and find them that opening. But Wrecking Ball's just sending them away. In comes the Dragon Blade, dismantled as well as just piling it on through. There's the Coalescence trying to keep everyone alive, but it's not enough. And a beautiful dismantle for Goodssen.
And each time, Goodssen Absolute, they're cycling the ultimate, taking a leaf out of Frecia's book that they wrote at the beginning of this series. Goodssen Absolute cycling them absolutely perfectly. They're going to have the Meteor Strike once again, a heavy stagger on Ocean, which you do see Kim Gyu-tae. He comes and takes that one away. I mean, he's very happy to slice the Diva in half, and no one else is doing that job for him.
Seems like they aren't. I got to keep going on about the Doofus because I've been waiting to see it this whole 2 games so far. And it's just going so well. Kim Gyu-tae backing it up beautifully as well. 2 swift strikes straight through the enemy. What you want to find, the Rocket Punch just going to zone them away. Diva just about slips out to spawn and lucky to do so at that. But the contest is coming through. Who's that on the point? It's the Sombra. They just swat it away. Little pesky Sombra.
Cheeky the Mosquito. So she's moved off the point now for the time being, but she did find some purchase on the point for a little time being, and the prize is 1 tick there. Goodssen Absolute, again, they're going to have the Primal Rage, they're going to have this, they're going to have the Minefield as well as, what a great position.
Chucked it out, the huge choke to be able to deny. They can't fall back, they can't go forwards because there's a Meteor Strike. Luckily the sound barrier is there to keep them a little bit healthy, but it's so difficult to lock down this Doofus. He has armor on top of it as well, and in goes Kim Gyu-tae as well, just challenging everybody out. The support's being zoned away by Tampa, but they managed to find their way onto the point, looking to move forward for that uppercut potentially, but Zer's there as well. The heal block coming out, and Frecia Gaming actually find a little bit of an opening. Oh Seung-woo has that self-destruct sequence, already found 2 kills. They're starting to cap it up, but there comes the contest. They're looking to move it forwards. They've got Kim Gyu-tae. They've got Tampa as well, but both of them very quick to fall. The deflect comes out, keeping them alive a little bit longer, and the rally's there, keeping them all nice and healthy. 4 players back onto the point. The nano boost onto the Brigitte for Anime, making him a little bit more potent, but they're just slowing it on down with that sound barrier. They're able to get back in. Tampa should be back into the fray as well. Zer has that Primal Rage. They are contesting this one blank. Oh Seung-woo able to finally take down Kim Gyu-tae, and Zer falls as well, looking for Frecia Gaming to roll it onto the second point, but Jesus is still live and kicking, resurrected, and he's onto the point, and it's going to be Tampa straight back into the fray. Has another Meteor Strike, looking to lay it down, but there is the EMP keeping him out of the fight for now. The Dragon Blade comes through, trying to find the opening, but he just can't make it happen, Blank. It's going to be pushing forwards onto this point for Frecia Gaming, but they are just getting rebuffed every time. This Temple of Anubis second point, so difficult to fight through.
That's how you get Tinnitus there, with a boot to the face. Anime has to go and finally falls. Really well played from Zer in this fight. Honestly, Ethan is pushed back into the corner towards their left spawn, and that pile driver just ending everyone. But like I was saying, they move Ethan into the left spawn area where he's unable to find the hacks onto Tampa or Kim Gyu-tae or Jesus, where it's absolutely necessary to have that. And Frecia Gaming, without that basically crucial hack, they don't have the damage, they don't have the CC available, and slowly but surely they crumble.
Frecia Gaming, they need this one if they want to take home this map, take home the quarterfinal as well. But in goes Jesus yet again on this Wrecking Ball. He's been so disruptive perpetually throughout all of these pushes, and looking to continue to do so. Only a minute left on the clock now for Frecia Gaming. They're looking to move it on forwards. There's the first pick off for Legend on the Brigitte, pulling it onto Ethan, onto the counterpart. There's the rally being popped as well. They trade it back just that little bit for now, but in comes the swing and flail. Frecia Gaming, they're not done just yet. They've already taken down Tampa, but they're not on the point. They cannot contest just yet, Blank.
He's so tanky. He basically might as well just be another wall the developers have put in the game. They just stood at the entrance, 1600 HP. He just can't get out because he's so fat. Frecia Gaming probably is so mad, just sat there, be like, get out the way, I'll pay you anything.
I'll pay you in ult charges. Well, that's certainly the tax they're going to have to face if they do want to be able to win these fights. So it's going to be pretty tricky from this standpoint. Tampa almost has another Meteor Strike available. Won't be too long. As soon as he lands another rocket punch, he's going to be almost there. There's the minefield being chucked on out from Jesus. And there's the sound barrier as well as the Riptire. Last fight territory. And with Oh Wu falling down and Tampa finding another pick onto Nihao, it's going to be so difficult for them to make it forwards. Overtime is ticking away. Goodssen Absolute looking to try and contest here. Try and stay alive in this quarterfinals. And with overtime ticking away, it looks like they're going to be able to do it. They take home Temple of Anubis. And it seems like this is the map for upsets today.
This is Goodssen Absolute dominate, John. 100% here. They take this one back. Tampa playing so very well. Kim Gyu-tae on his tail all the time. But you know what? Who it's really got to go over there is the Hammond. Played so very, very well throughout the entire map. So much displacement. So much frustration must have been put into Frecia Gaming there. They just cannot get past him. He was just... he was the Great Wall of China or Korea in this situation.
Yeah, seems to be. And channeling his inner divinity, able to pull out a divine performance on that wrecking ball. Beautifully played, and I was really happy to finally get my wish. We saw the Doom Fist, and I'm sure Kick Tripod, you have some notes on that as well. So let's bring you in. Let's bring you into the discussion and see how I feel about that.
I mean, I feel great. I'm glad that you feel complete as an Overwatch caster, getting to see the heroes that you want to see. Because in the end, when people ask, like, why do you want to be a caster in esports? Some people will say, I want to be famous, or, you know, I just like to talk really fast. All John wants is Doomfist and Wrecking Ball. That's all he wants. It's literally his resume is like 3 lines. It's like, I'm here to see Doomfist, Wrecking Ball. So
That's
this
all
is a
there is.
good series for you then.
That's all you
That
need.
is, yeah, that's all you need. Wrecking Ball and Doomfist, and they came out, and it was beautiful, and they won exactly the way I predicted. And I don't want to say that I'm the superior analyst here, but Blank, what did you predict?
You know what? I may as well just be a placeholder at this point. I got everything wrong.
Hey,
What's the point of me being here? I may as well just scurry
if
off the
you
desk.
remember, I analyzed John's answer before John's answer.
That's true. That's true.
Where you
So
were
at the end of the
analyzing the
day-
truth.
You are the all-seeing.
So
analyst.
at the end of the day, are you both placeholders? Am I the real analyst here, and I just come in
That's-
between
That's why we
maps?
pull you in, Katie. Oh,
Yes.
Really,
Some
we're just
Inception stuff
hiding
going on
our
right now.
inability to analyze.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's not true at all. Well, I mean, hey, we're at this point now. Again, the same thing has happened now. 2 series in a row. Team goes down 2-0, wins on Temple of Anubis. Do either of you have a theory on why these teams tend to be able to take Temple of Anubis against others that maybe they're not as favored on?
It's just the way it goes, really, isn't it? I mean,
Just
Temple
the way it
Anubis-
goes.
that's
It's
right,
supreme
that's right.
QCP.
analysis
That's
right
the way
there.
it's just the way it goes, Katie. It's like meat and cheeses in the green room. It's like Katie on the desk. It's just the way it goes. All right. I really think
It's
that
just the
I really think that Goodssen Absolute did pull out something which was pretty crazy, and I've not seen something like that before. They made it work. Oh Wu just wasn't able to hold up to it, and Jesus on this Hammond just insane. And at the end of the day, Frecia Gaming didn't have the answers that Goodssen Absolute demanded.
Fair enough. I appreciate.
It's just the way it goes.
I appreciate you coming around. Let's see the way that Hollywood goes here, because we're going into that one about T-minus 50 seconds to go. I didn't provide you with much insight here on this on this brief
Provided
break.
me a good chuckle.
We're here
That's
for a
what
good
matters.
time, and I
We'll
feel like
just
that we've done that.
let's just get right back into it. Go ahead, guys.
All right. Well, Goodssen Absolute, they had a taste of victory, but is it going to be more Pancake Shrove Tuesday or the Last Supper? Remains to be seen. Frecia Gaming, they have certainly got an interesting composition lined up, but they're on offense. They can swap anytime they want.
They can do. I mean, Frecia Gaming. This is a crazy comp they're running. You know, I won't be surprised if they run out the gate with this at this point. To be honest with you, John. But Goodssen Absolute. We're gonna take a quick look at their composition instead. They're running the Ana, Lucia, Brigida. Anna's gonna be putting out the majority of the healing in this situation, whereas VIP, K, and Legend are going to be sporting much of the disruption and holding them back. They're probably expecting something like a Doomfist, which is why they got Kim Butte on the McCree here to try and stop that. But Frecia Gaming, they're sticking to their guns, and here comes the goats, and the horns are in full force.
And a variant 3-3. Let's see how it's going to go. They're going to be charging them back. The Biotic Grenade just seeing straight back into the side room. Just getting taken down as well. Brutal, savage, wrecked dominance.
Nice, John. Some good vocabulary I've got there. It's good to know that you have a dictionary in front of you, because you're going to need one to explain exactly what happened here. Or not, because Frecia Gaming, it's just the way it goes for them.
It's like that.
It just be like that sometimes.
People don't think it be like it is, but it do.
Well, Frecia Gaming, if we hold it down, here, really, we want to take a look at what happened. And they play this composition of 3-3, and they understand how it works. Goodssen Absolute, they didn't have the disruption available, which is why they're on the Junkrat now, which is why they're on the Ana with the Sleep Dart, because immediately Frecia Gaming gets straight to the back line and demolishes it. And after that, it's just plain sailing for them.
Keeping the pressure forward, a very quick take on that first point into a little bit of a struggle. The Earth Shatter not really finding too much, but they are going to get the first pick off over onto Legend nonetheless, meaning that Ana not able to find that long light sightline healing. The Vipte still floating around on that Mercy. Not going to mean that they can heal up Zer though, and that's the second pick as they round that corner blank.
Not at all. Frecia Gaming so far, all advantage in their favor, but Ash Takayaki going down. It's pretty unfortunate. Oh Sung-woo responds.
Yeah, they're just keeping on going. Frecia Gaming, they don't want to let the fight die, and Zer straight back in as well. Wants to take that gambit. Unfortunately, it's not going to pay off. They're just rolling their Reinhardt out of spawn as the Gravidon Surge is there, up and available. They need to be a little bit careful without their main tank, but the respawns are still there for Goodssen.
They have the bigger bang available here, but they don't want to have to use it. There it goes down. At the entrance, it will ensure point C take, and they get gonna get some heavy respawns on here, heavy staggers. That's that bug on the Junkrat. I love it so much. But he drops down.
It's so satisfying. You see him up in the air, you know his trajectory, he knows what's gonna happen, you know what's gonna happen. And the payoff is just the blind.
Arms down by his side. It's actually strange, they're staggering themselves out quite a lot here, John. Frecia Gaming, Oh Sung-woo does have this self-destruct espresso sound barrier as well, as ready to apply that to his team. Probably going to wait for when Tampa drops down the Dragon Blade, because there is a Nano Blade available for Goodssen Absolute, and that's going to be their massive opportunity here on top of the Dragon Blade.
Oh no, it's just so brutal yet again, but they need to find the counter to it. It seems they've done just that. Only one pick down. Tampa actually able to get a second there. Unbeknownst to the rest of his team though, he seems to have not really been able to equalize too well. The push, not quite able to capitalize just yet.
Jesus, moving up diagonal, enemy moving very much forward, 76% and climbing. The Rez tries to get off, doesn't find it. A lovely whip shot in the back lines.
Oh, they're able to get forward to the healing Biotic Grenade, not quite able to stop them moving forwards. There's the Gravidon Surge, the push is still there, and Ethan's just flailing that flail around. So it seems to be what you're meant to do with a flail, and it's working great for now. The Riptide immediately takes down Ethan, but is it too little too late? But what's that I spy waiting in the wings? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a Doomfist. Is it going to have an impact onto this hold? That's the question on everyone's lips. He's going to get taken down, so no impact whatsoever to speak of on that. But we're moving on from that as the Nano Booster Reinhardt stakes the claim, and the push goes through. Frecia Gaming, they're able to get that third point.
They're unable to hold them. At this final point, the Doomfist comes out a little bit too late for Goodssen Absolute. Maybe if it came out a bit earlier, they would have got a bit more value out of it. But Frecia Gaming so far showing their strengths again. But this might be their weakness, that a lot of teams in semis and finals, if they get there, will be able to exploit. Because the problem is that they play this GOATS comp so ever well, and they know which targets need to prioritize. The calling is good. The supports must have such a commanding presence within this team of Frecia game because they know where to go at the right times. It's just the problem they don't seem to be able to have that same grasp on other compositions. And when Goodssen Absolute throws a spanner in the works, Frecia Gaming are very slow to respond. So Goodssen Absolute, what I'd like to see here is another one of their funky comps. I want to see it out on the dance floor. I want to see it dancing around. I want to see what they can do with it.
Yeah, gotta get that twist on. I wouldn't be too put out if they actually rolled out with this Symmetra.
It seems very much Goodssen Absolute, doesn't it?
Yeah, I could see that happening. I'd like that.
Is everyone just round the Symmetra turret? Is this like the new campfire? It's giving off small amounts of heat. No. No, my bush. No, my bush on this broadcast, please. Thank you.
Oh, all right.
It's too insane.
This is an outrage.
It's already quite insane at this point. Oh, look at this. This is fairly cute, isn't it? I love
just having a sit down. Look at that. That's quite civilized, isn't it?
You know what? I like that a lot. Yeah,
everyone's lining up.
That's warmed my heart. But quickly,
they even had Zerd there to take the photo as well. It was great.
Yeah, they did. He was in the background. He's a good dude. Right now, Frecia Gaming, they're holding on. They have this GOATS comp available again. The 3-3. It doesn't work as well on defense because obviously you have to push forward into the attacking team, which oftentimes does cause a lot of risk for you as in a defensive comp. But now Zerd looking for the charge, doesn't find it. Now he's in the midst of hell.
Oh, Legend already falling down. Frecia Gaming get the first pick of the fray on the defense, and Ethan's not done just yet. Finds a second support. Nihao somehow in the sky. I think he was up on the platform there and just dropping down. Not a flying Anna, unfortunately. Although that would be quite something to behold. Maybe taking a leaf out of her daughter's book.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, this is upsetting. She's just getting hit by her own mech. Now, Frecia Gaming, they're looking in a better position now. They have a decent ult economy, about 50% of the way there. This next fight is probably going to demand perfection, though, from Goodssen Absolute, because they need to make sure that they're hitting these ultimates before Frecia Gaming does. Ash Takayaki is probably the big one. 10% on Zer above him, so he needs to retain this advantage.
Oh, the charge not quite hitting there. The triple tank line moving forwards for Goodssen, but they're trading it equally, and Tampa going down on that Anna, really devastating to that push. Espresso not going to be as heavily missed. A nice sleep going down. A long-range dart. It's going to land on that bullseye. I'm just going to send them home. And back, there you go, back to spawn.
Indeed, that's a long range kiss goodnight. That's what we like to call it. Now, Frecia Gaming, like I said, now their ult economy is very heavily in their favor, which is going to make this new recontest very difficult. A quick sleep, though, onto Espresso, not going to open everything up, but it does open up for a huge graviton.
Counter shatter. All the ults are just getting thrown on in. Everybody's locked on up, and it seems like Goodssen are finally starting to come out on top of the fight. Nihao's still up on high, keeping that Brigitte nice and healthy. Birch Grenade not quite finding the target, but they are moving around. It is quite a distance. It is forgivable, but in come Goodssen Absolute, they are starting to rack up the kills. This first point looking to go over their way.
Goodssen Absolute in a great position right now. They might just be able to get to point C here on Hollywood. Frecia Gaming, they had the sound barrier, they had the Ziva self-destruct, but what an amazing sleep onto Lucio, sending him to bed early, and from that they're able to set up a massive graviton.
Massive graviton, pretty much trying to be thrown out by both teams there. A lot of ults invested, but the banks don't seem to be too depleted. Kim Butte just moving on forwards. High charge Zarya. It's what you need to do. Stay in that front line. Keep that going. The sleep onto the Diva and the biotic grenade onto Ash as well. Just keeping that Reinhardt pressure up. And Frecia Gaming, they're just falling here on this second point.
They really are. I mean, they're trying to reset as quickly as possible. Ethan desperately wants to get this rally so they can re-push with this inwards. Obviously, Legends just used his own, which means that Goodssen Absolute, they're pretty stacked here. Frecia Gaming, they're absolutely in this rally to even contest in this next fight. Because this Graviton, it's a large ultimate.
Certainly is. Very impactful. Huge CC ult looking to be thrown out, but in comes the self-destruct sequence. It's going to be finding both of the tanks, and that was a mini diva that got blown up as well as she sent out her own self-destruct sequence. And Goodssen, they are just getting seen off yet again. Finally, Frecia able to find their footing here on the second point.
It looked so very bad as soon as the Diva self-destruct went off, as now there's no even pressure for Enemy there, Kim Gyu-tae to throw his Graviton. There's no Diva Matrix available, but the self-destruct was placed in such a way that it landed just atop the cart, which meant there was nowhere to go for the mini Diva. There was nowhere to go for anyone else. So it picks up the 2K, and after that, it's very easy for Frecia Gaming to set up because they don't have to worry about position when they're positioning out the way the self-destruct because no one's there to capitalize.
It's all about the shatter battle here, but it's going to get blocked up for one. Not so lucky for the other. The sound barrier is there to try and keep them alive, but Ash is going to start to move it forwards. 2 minutes left on the clock for Frecia Gaming, or for a Goodssen push, and they're just getting a little bit dismantled here as they try to go for this late stage push on stage 2, but just not going their way. And with Ethan up to the skies, it's going to be a little bit more tricky.
And what is this, John? Ethan, Frecia Gaming, playing Afara? We're not on Goats Comp anymore. This is really, really odd. But at the same time, it's working. It's working very well. And I mean, they click the heels twice. An hour in the sky, not quite home, but at least we will have a barrage soon with us, and it's not also quite a tornado. But it does the same amount of damage.
Yeah, it might feel like a house getting dropped on you at times, but can be negated by a well-placed Diva defense matrix. Just sailing on up there, trying to counter it out. It's going to be all about positioning in the ensuing fray with a minute left on the clock for Goodssen. And really, really down to the wire here. The series is on the line, remember. Frecia Gaming, they're looking for it, but in comes the Graviton Surge. Ethan trying to cancel out any pressure with that Rocket Barrage, but isn't going to find anything, and Zer is going to be able to take it down. The Shatter, it's huge. It finds Reinhardt on the front line. The Diva going to be slammed down as well, but the Destruct sequence is out.
No!
It finds one. The second kill as well for Frecia Gaming, and they're looking to hold strong, Blank. It's going so well for them. They just need to hold on for 50 seconds more.
Ash, Takoyaki does not have to invest the Earth Shatter as well, as he placed himself so well. The Graviton came down to almost negate the Earth Shatter, but they stayed strong. They were steadfast there with Frecia Gaming. They held onto it so very, very well. Quick switches off. Now they move Ethan back over the Brigitte. They know they need this shield bash should Zer come forward with the help of a nano boost. They need to hold him at bay, and our whip shot is probably going to be their best bet at pushing him back.
They're not even close to the Earth Shatter, though, on Zer. They need to make it come forward, and there it goes. There's a huge Shatter.
14 seconds!
That could be the game-winning Shatter, the series-winning Shatter. Blank Zer down, slept. The Nano Boost not going to be able to save you this time. And it is the pressure going forwards, the Biotic Grenade, and the damage is being dealt. Frecia Gaming with the time ticking away, looking to take it home right here on on Hollywood. That's the one. They are going to be taking the kills. They're trying to stop this contest coming through, and they are just clobbering anyone who steps up. BipK is the only player close, is going to continue that contest, and in comes the Doomfist as well, but they are not long for this World Wrecking Ball, trying his utmost to keep it going. The shield bash is there, overtime ticks away, and Frecia Gaming go to the semi-finals.
Finally, Frecia Gaming, they mix things up and they're able to do it, making these minute changes at the right time. You know what, John? It might not be Route 66, but Frecia Gaming, they've secured themselves a route into the semi-finals.
Certainly have. They will be taking on Wildcat Gaming in that semi-final spot and maintaining the dream for now. But to help us talk a little bit more about this after play of the game, I guess we're going to be taking it over to our desk. And to lead the desk, it's none other than the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, some might say the best host in Open Division. It's Kick Tripod.
Please. Blake, did you see the way that one was?
Yeah, it'd be like it is.
It'd be like it is. So that was that was a fun map though. It really was. And that's gonna do it. Yeah, it was a pretty good one. I mean, you guys definitely upped your pun game on that too. So kudos to both of you.
We had like a string of like 9 or something going. I think we like reached a top score. We definitely hit a top score.
High score.
Let's talk about this last map though, and the match overall. At the end of it all, Frecia Gaming takes down GSA 3-1. They advance to the semifinals. which will be broadcast tomorrow on Broadcast.gg. Don't go anywhere, though, because we have 2 more quarterfinal matches
Plenty more.
after this.
Oh.
You aren't going to hear me anymore, too. So all the more reason to stay. Let's
You're not gonna
talk,
hear us
though.
either.
I want to get this out of the way right away. MVP for the match, John. Who walks away MVP for this match?
Jesus.
Jesus.
Oh,
No,
I was like, why? Was that a difficult question for you? Did I say something wrong? And I'm like, oh, yeah,
Temple of
there's...
Anubis, I think, really stood out. But no, I think that's a little bit overzealous. I think that in general, Frecia, they didn't have a standout player super strong.
I disagree.
Do you?
disagree.
Who are you going for?
I'm gonna say Ethan. I mean, the switch up onto the Farah, the pressure that he provided during that entire game, and then the play on the Brigitte as well was just extremely strong in general. And I think the reads from him to push back Zer, to be able to control Tampa when he did make that ultimate switch over to the Doomfist, I think all in all, there was some very smart plays out from this player, and almost was the glue that held together Frecia Gaming in those final moments.
I'm just gonna retake my answer here, and I'm going for Tampa because he's the only person who's played Doomfist so far.
You know what?
All right. I guess we know what qualifies MVP for you, John.
Just one angry fist. That's all I need.
Right. Yeah. That's all you want. So, I mean, as we kind of walk away from this one here, I want to talk about Frecia Gaming. And John, do you think that this is a team that, based on what you saw today, is this a team that you expect to go really deep, win semifinals, maybe even seeing a grand final here? Or you think that we might be seeing some better teams here over the next day and a half?
So they're going to be taking on Wildcat Gaming. And whilst Frecia, they have had a strong performance here, I think it's just been a little bit more ropey than what we've seen coming out from Wildcat. The play was very much centered around the style of, well, we'll just play 3-3 then and see what happens for Frecia Gaming. And it worked out here. I don't know if it's going to work so well against Wildcat because we have seen that before. They're not afraid to go up against these comps and change it around and play something different. Maybe they'll play Doomfist. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll do it. But, we'll wait and see. But if I had to give a prediction, I'd say Wildcat on the semifinals for this one. For now, certainly.
Fair enough. What do you think, Blank? Is this a team you expect to go late into the playoffs, or do you think that Wildcat may very well be their match?
I think they have a lot of potential here. Unfortunately, the only thing is that they have this very strong 3-3 comp that they can augment, adjust to their needs. But when you play maps like Gibraltar, Temple of Anubis, where there is something extra that's required compositionally for that value, they have a bit of a tough time. Now, if we were talking in the regular season, they'd have an extra week. They'd have had an extra week to sort things out and maybe scrim a little bit more. But we're going straight into semifinals. They don't have much time to adjust their play style. And I think versus Wildcats, who have all these wild different strategies that they can employ, they're probably on a tough time. There is still 2 more games, 1 game today for the quarterfinal, number 3, and then we have another quarterfinal tomorrow, I believe, and this will decide who else is going to the semifinal. I'd be interested to see who those players are. I know we're doing all 4 quarterfinals today. I do apologize. So it'd be interesting to see what teams come out of there. I know I'll be watching. You guys definitely stick around because we've got Hurix and Kiwi coming to replace me. Both very, very, very good casters. Very, very cool. So all is well. All is well. Plus, Lemon Kiwi has a degree in biology. So, I mean, what can go wrong?
Yeah, exactly. Nothing like casting Overwatch and biology.
Exactly.
I mean, at least it'll probably be better than calculus puns. So at least we have that.
You take that back right now.
I will not do that thing, and we need to get out of here. We're going to go ahead and end this part of the broadcast. Take a brief break before we go on to match number 3. Before we do, though, let me tell you about Broadcast.gg. One last time, I want you to hear it from me. In the top right-hand corner of your screen, there's a blue heart. No. There's a purple heart or a green heart. If it's green, you're good. Don't even pay attention. Do what you do when you start hearing John talk about calculus puns and just tune it out. But if that's purple, Go up there, click it, follow Broadcast.gg. We bring you all sorts of amazing competitive Overwatch content, including Open Division, Contenders Trials. We even did the English broadcast of Contenders China and South America. You don't want to miss what we're broadcasting here on Broadcast.gg. Now, if you're like, you know what, you're right, I'm already following, dude, I'm all in, you want to go to the next level, head on over to Twitter, twitter.com/broadcast.gg. There you can see all of our great updates. We have one of the best social media teams in the world. You heard it here first. No bias. And you'll know what we're broadcasting going on. Get highlights of some of the great content. We have dozens of content creators who are making podcasts and analysis videos and all sorts of different types of content that you don't want to miss. And lastly, if you're like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. But you know what? I want to do this too. I want to cast. I want to produce. I want to host. I want to be an observer, whatever that is. Down below, there's a link to our Discord panels, and you can join our community there. We'll get you plugged in, set up, and then who knows? After not too long, you could be taking blank spot.
Not mine, though.
Not John's.
No one can replace John.
Mine's
Trust me, we've tried.
because
We've tried.
I'm going somewhere else at some point. No one knows, but maybe.
Fair enough.
What, are we going on holiday? Are we going on holiday,
Yeah,
Blank?
Yeah, man.
Oh.
We're going to Yemen. Yemen.
All
I don't wanna
right.
go-
Well,
yeah.
on that note, can you just mute them, Sunkern? Thank you. We'll go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in for these first two matches. We're going to be back with two more right after a brief break while we get everything turned around. Don't go anywhere.